Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of As Far As We Know. I'm your host, Sarah, and over there behind the camera, or those of you who are listening, you don't know where I'm pointing, is my co-host, Toulouse, who is a cat and not a person. I know, really sad. People are so much better than cats. I said very sarcastically. Anyway, wow, it's just so great that you're here with me, listening to me talk, and I'm so grateful that you are doing that. And I'm just excited for this journey of what this looks like. But for the very first episode, I wanted it to be something that is relatable, but also you can get to know me a little bit, which I guess is this whole point of this podcast. But also, I feel like this is a really good start. And the name of this is Living Alone and How I Got Here, which is kind of a spin-off of this book that I have. And it's called Arrangements and Blue Notes on Loving and Living Alone by Amy Key. There's a lot of things I don't morally agree with in it, but that's because we all live different lives, and I'm grateful for that. But there's a lot of really good stuff in here, and just made me think about me loving life and living alone and just being single and what that looks like. And to give you an idea of what it looks like now, I basically live by myself with my cat, and then I will go to work, come home, say hi to her, give her a little spiel about my day. Sometimes I do that, not all the time, but most times. And then I'll either change and go do something if I have plans, or I will change and sit on my couch and eat dinner, read a book, drink some tea, hang out with my cat, or work on a project. It depends on where my brain's at. But I also will try and look for trinkets, furniture, things that make my house more my own. And that's half the battle most of the time, is trying to make this feel as cozy as possible. But I feel like I'm at a really good spot. Like, it feels like a home, and I like that. Anyway, what else was I going to say? Oh, how I got here. How I got to living alone. It was quite a journey because I lived with my parents before. And then I went to college and I was in a dorm for one semester. I lived with someone. And then after that, I was like, never again. Never. It wasn't that bad of an experience, but it was not my favorite. It was mostly, I just didn't want to live with someone. And then I lived in a dorm for like a year by myself, but I had people around me. So I was constantly seeing people. So it wasn't really living alone. And then after that, because I went to college for a year and a half, and then I dropped out because I didn't like college and it wasn't my thing. And that's okay. College is not for everyone. But I did move in with my friend, she's fantastic. We lived together for a whole year. And I learned so much, and it was so great. And then after that, in 2022, I moved out on my own, and I've just been doing that ever since. And it's been so great, really, to just get to experience this new way of life that I haven't really experienced. I experienced all the in between, but this is the farthest away from living with someone is living alone. And I'm going to tell you what's hard about it, and then what's good about it, and what I've taken away from that all. So to start off, I'm going to talk about what's been hard, because it's better to end on a good note, in my opinion. I think the hardest things were going to bed in an empty home. It's just me. I wake up, turn the lights on. I go to bed, turn the lights off, Then I think I hear things, and then it's just Toulouse doing something, or it's my neighbors upstairs and downstairs. So it's a little scary sometimes, especially being by myself. I don't know what noises are, and I can't send someone to fight them for me. It's weird. Like, even if I did live in a house with someone and they can't fight or like can't defend me, I like that better, because at least I'm in it with someone. If I'm gonna die, I don't want to die alone. I'd rather die with someone. Maybe that's selfish, but I don't know. I think also I have never really been alone. Like, I've had a dog or a cat, so I think that scares me, is not because I have Toulouse and she keeps me company all the time. And if I'm like, I don't want to go to bed alone, I just pick her up and take her to bed, and she's fine. I don't know if I'd ever want to not have a dog or a cat with me. Just, they're the best. I love them. I love animals. I think a lot of times I have so much time alone with my thoughts, which can be hard because it's just me up in my head thinking. And it was hard for a while because I would just get in my head so much, and then it would carry with me to when I'd go hang out with someone or when I'd go to work and I had to really be like, no, we can't do that. It's good to take time to think, but like when it's all you're doing, I think that's bad, at least for me. I had to get comfortable with myself and enjoy my own presence. I think of it a lot of like if you have siblings and you grow up with them and you're like, man, I just have to learn to be okay with this person. And I think it gets easier when you move out and you don't see them as much and you're like, oh yeah, they're not that bad. But I'm really having to like be like, man, that's so annoying. And then be like, but it's okay. It's fine. Like I'll get used to it. I think, where am I? Sorry, I have my notes here because I can't keep all my thoughts in line. This one, oh my gosh, guys, this one makes me so angry a lot of the time. The hardest thing, I think, and this might just be recently, but this has happened more often than not, is if I want a home cooked meal, I'm the one that has to do it. It's not like, oh, I can get takeout, but like a home cooked meal, I make it. I know it's in that thing. I can't ask someone to make it for me. I have to do it myself. And it's so hard when I come home and I'm like, I don't want to do anything today. I really don't want to cook anything. I either have to order out, which is not my favorite thing to do, but like it is so hard to be so tired and want a home cooked meal and you can't have it unless you do it. And that just gets me riled up. Anyway, the things that I love about living alone. This is the next part. I think I love that I can leave my clothes in the laundry machine and it be fine. Like if I have dirty clothes, I can throw them in the wash, wait until I have to wash them. Or if I have stuff in the dryer, I can leave them in there. I don't have to worry about someone that's like, hey, Sarah, this is like the 5th time this month that you've done this. You can't keep doing that. I just do whatever I want. Toulouse doesn't have clothes. She don't gotta wash anything. I think also I can play music whenever I want. I'm not like I have to have my headphones in. I can just play it on my speakers and I don't have to worry. I can play it loud, quiet. I try not to play it too loud because I do have neighbors, but still I can play it out loud and I don't have to worry about someone being like, Sarah, that's the worst music I've ever heard, which they wouldn't say, by the way, because I have really good music taste, but I just don't have to worry about it. And then I can have silence whenever I want. We can have silence right now. I won't do that though, because that would be pretty boring. But I just can sit here, I guess that's not silence, but hear like a candle crackling. But just sit here quiet whenever I need to just decompress. Don't need anything. Just have Toulouse in my lap. We hang out. It's quiet. And even if I don't want her, I can just tell her to leave. And she usually does. Yeah, I just give her a look and she does. I get to spend a lot of time with God, which is really nice. And I've gotten to learn a lot from him in the times where I'm yapping to him, but also in the times where I'm just sitting and I'm like, I don't want to talk. I just want to listen. Can we just sit here? Can we just hang out? Have some quality time. And that's so nice when you're like not having to be like, oh, I don't have time for this. It's like, no, you literally have time. You literally have time to hang out with God. When you're living alone, you don't have that much of a choice. I get to keep my place at the temperature I like. I don't have to have it like, no, this has to stay at 60 degrees year round. I just get to hang out and I don't know who does 60 degrees. I think I know some people that do that. I think my stepdad has done that. But I keep it at like a 68, 70 sometimes. I know, crazy. It's just so nice. And because I'm the only one that's paying for it. Literally, I just have to pay the bills. And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with splurging on that. Also, when it comes to the lights, I can keep whatever lights on I want. If I'm scared that night, I keep the lights on. I'm like, whatever. It's fine. Sometimes I come home, I see my closet light on, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. And it's fine because I'm the one paying for it. I try not to keep them on. I have good morals when it comes to lights, okay, guys? I try not to keep them on, but sometimes I forget. I'm only human. I also can leave certain things in spots and not worry about them being in the way. I have this wall I'm working on back here, which you can only see part of it. You can only see the unfinished part. But I've been painting these frames, coating them, hanging them up. I've had that there this whole time that I've been living here. And it's just so nice that I don't have to worry about it being in the way. Besides Toulouse, she likes it though. She likes the new stuff being, she's like, oh, this stool hasn't been here before. That's weird. Why is this stool here? And then she jumps on it. She looks around it a little bit. Sometimes I will just move things so she gets a little like, what's going on here? Something's new. Because she lives here 24/7. This is just her place. Anyway, I like that I don't have to worry about things being in the way. They're only in my way, and then I'll move them. I think also not having to wake up early when it's like a Saturday, and I don't have anything waking me up besides my cat or an alarm. But on Saturday, when I can just wake up to the sun coming through my blinds, that's the best. I don't got to worry about anyone yelling, nothing being too loud. It's just me, my cat, and my alarm, and the sun coming through the blinds. Also, another thing, which I debated keeping this here, but I don't have to be dressed. Like, I don't have to be ready to go out. I can wear whatever I want and just be fine with it because it's just me and my cat, which is just so nice. I love that I don't have to worry about that. And I don't have to unplug my vacuum. This one isn't specific to just living alone. This is having a small apartment where it's just one person. I found out that I can plug in my vacuum to one outlet in my whole apartment and vacuum the whole entire thing. That might just be my vacuum having a long cord, but I don't think so. I think that's spectacular. I remember when I found that out, I thought I made a new discovery that was spectacular. And I guess it is. For me, for you, it might not be. For me, incredible. Last thing, I get to know myself better. I learned so much about myself, which kind of talks about the other point I made earlier, which I'm not going to go back to. But I have learned so much about myself just because usually when you're living with someone or people that you're around all the time, you take on a lot of their traits. And that happens in general, like with your friends. But really, when you're living with someone, you take on a lot more. But since I've been living alone, I've learned so much about myself, especially that I do like hanging out alone a lot. We just had a work from home for a few days, and I just loved not having to talk to people, which is weird because I love talking to people all the time. So stuff like that has been great to learn. And that I do like candles, which might have just been something I learned recently and has nothing to do with me living alone. But I found out I do like candles because I was like, man, candles are so smelly. They're so intense. But I just got candles that don't smell as intensely and smell like earth, like dirt. I just want a dirt candle. Is that too much to ask? Can a girl not have a dirt candle? Anyway, that's it, really. But the key things that I've taken away from this, one key thing I would say that I've taken away from living alone is that you don't know unless you try. And that kind of goes with the thing of you don't know unless you ask. And it's kind of rejection therapy to yourself is moving out on your own because you just got to do it, full send it. But it's funny because I didn't want to live alone. When I first decided to, I went in a dorm room by myself and I was like, this is great. I love it. But I was still with people. And then I decided, I was like, you know what? I'm going to move out with someone because I'd rather try it before I have to live with a husband and then find out all the stuff that I suck at living with people. But then I moved in with someone and it was so hard, but so good. It was so much more rewarding than the hard things. And I'm so grateful for that. And that I got to learn so many things about myself and just about how I am with people when I live with them. And it's just great. And I think that if it's hard for you you really are scared to live alone, really making that jump, and it's hard, but it's so good. The fruit on the other side is so fulfilling. But I wanted to ask you a few questions. These 3 questions, I'm going to do this at the end of every episode, and there are 3 questions from Toulouse. And you might be thinking, Sarah, there's no way that Toulouse could be asking questions. You're wrong. I you're so wrong, because Toulouse did ask me these questions, and these are the questions. I have them written down. What valuable lessons has living alone taught you? Or what have you learned from the experience of living with someone? What has that taught you? So you could do both or either or. And then the next one, what do you miss most about living alone? Or what do you miss most about having a roommate or someone to live with? And then third question is, what are you most looking forward to when it comes to living alone? Or what are you most looking forward to about sharing a home with someone? So those, I heard her say those questions. Those are the three. So I'm going to leave you with that. And I hope that you can have a good time answering that. And I would love if you comment on Instagram when I post these things, because I would be so grateful for that. So grateful. But thank you guys for tuning in and listening to me talk. I am hoping to post these once a week. So look out on Tuesdays. You should hear these once a week. And if I don't, you come in that comment section and you yell at me, okay? I'm talking, you yell so much if you don't see a podcast on Tuesdays. I would love that. I'd be so grateful, because it would show me that you missed this. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I hope to see you next week, and I hope you enjoyed this podcast, and let me know what you want to hear. Let me know what you want me to talk about. But I'll see you next week. Bye.